Our animals are important to us, and no one knows that more than our own Doc Sanders.
Hi, I'm Doc Sanders. Ohio is home to many forms of livestock. From cows on a dairy farm to pigs in a pen, our animals function as an important part of our resources. But recently, our farms have a new kid on the block, the alpaca. Often confused with its distant relative, the llama, alpacas are much smaller in size. While other forms of livestock serve the purpose of food, alpacas in the United States fill a different void. These adorable and unique-looking camelids can hum, sing, and even jump when excited. Alpacas started being imported into the States from South America in 1986. Today, Ohio has the most alpaca farms in the country, with Washington State in close second. While many owners are won over by their cute and cuddly appearance, others are drawn to their investment possibilities. Alpaca fiber is considered one of the finest in the world and ranges in 22 different colors. It can be made into sweaters, hats, gloves, and even socks. Alpaca owners will shear them, show them, and many times sell them. But one alpaca owner in Little Hocking, Ohio, found a way to further maximize her alpaca investment and turned her small farm into an expanding business.
Hey guys, come out. People find alpacas very, very charming. They are fascinating, interesting. A lot of times people say, why do you have alpacas? You know, how did you get to have alpacas? And I'm not really sure. I just know that when I saw them, I had to have some. There are two kinds of alpacas. There is the wakaya, or the fuzzy kind, and then there are the suri alpacas, the stringy kind. I knew I wanted the stringy kind, the suri alpacas. And I came home with the idea of finding out as much as I could about them. Oh, girls. Indeed. Alpacas are very easy to handle, very sweet. They each have their own personality, very different. Each one has their own little quirks, little idiosyncrasies. I spend a lot of time with the animals because I enjoy being with them and interacting with them, and especially observing them interact, because there is a herd hierarchy, and I enjoy watching. Each one of them has a certain place in the herd, and I can see that very easily by observing. First, I must say that I have a llama also. Lana Llama is my guard, and we do see coyotes here, and she protects the herd. She is the leader, and all the alpacas do what Lana wants them to do. Next, we have Abby. Abby is my firstborn. She's the first alpaca that was born here on the farm, and I say Abby's like my puppy dog because she doesn't mind being petted, and she always comes to me and gives me kisses. Another of my alpacas is Agile August. We call her Gussie. And we have a visiting alpaca, Pirouette, and they're kind of troublemakers.
For Margot, alpacas became more than just another addition to the farm. They unleashed the business side of her as well.
Raising the alpacas, the gestation is 1 year. And it took a while before my first one was born. And so here I was on a farm, and I looked and saw the farmhouse was sitting empty. And I said, hey, that could be a B&B. I did not realize what that meant at the time, but I began to look into that, what I would need to do to open a bed and breakfast. Windswept Farm, the cottage at Windswept.
Now, with the addition of the bed and breakfast, visitors can get up close and personal with the alpacas at Windswept Farm.
I think the biggest reaction I have from guests visiting the farm is that they immediately get out their cameras. And my alpacas have been well photographed. They come to the fence, and of course I have treats that the alpacas know are available, so they'll come right up to the fence. And they have had lots and lots of pictures taken.
With all the activity on the farm, Margot's creative juices were flowing, and that allowed her to pursue a lifelong dream.
The first alpaca that was born on the farm, adorable Abigail, was born on a cold winter morning in January. I dried her and I said, I need to get her to the barn. And so I picked her up and carried her to the barn, and it was like a parade. All the animals followed me into the barn. I went into the house and I picked up a legal pad and I wrote the story of Abby being born. And that was my first story in my book. The final story in my book was I had copyrighted Alfie's silhouette, and I just thought Alfie was in the field, and I just thought, I wondered what he'd think about I was going to have him copyrighted. Alfie was always frightened when he was restrained for shearing, and nail trimming was not much fun either. It was with this in mind that Alfie heard Mrs. J tell her daughter Megan that she was going to have Alfie copyrighted. For days, Alfie worried and fretted about this news. He wondered if he would be standing in a chute, or would they lay him on his side and tie his hooves so he could not get up? He worried and fretted and worried and fretted. It was a new spring day when Mrs. J ran down the hill waving a piece of paper in her hand. She seemed very pleased and very excited, and she shouted to Jim, who was preparing the garden for rototilling, "Guess what? Alfie and his silhouette have been copyrighted. Isn't that exciting?" Alfie's ears perked up. He could not believe it. He had been copyrighted, and he hadn't felt a thing. This has been a whole new chapter in my life. After raising 5 children, I say it's my answer to the empty nest syndrome. It has taken on almost a life of its own. I never knew when I moved to the farm how far this would all go. I don't want to sell them. The idea is to breed alpacas, and you can sell them for profit. They're all my friends, my pets. It sounds like that will be a hard thing for me to do. Having alpacas has changed my life immensely.
If you are interested in buying your own alpaca, remember, they are more than just an investment. They are wonderful animals that require a lot of care and maintenance, and any decision to purchase one shouldn't be taken lightly. But if you do decide that alpacas are for you, you just might have a friend for life.
To learn more about alpacas in Ohio, please visit our website at ourohio.org.